That is the New England Patriots with, a potential MVP winner at quarterback in Drake Maye. But I don't know if the defense is winning any MVP awards, but the Patriots, Trevor, buying or selling them as true Super Bowl contenders.
I think I have to buy this team.
I think
just because, like you mentioned, like they are, and I'm reluctant to say that. Really, when you look at what this team was last year, how far they were away, how few wins they had, how bad the coaching staff was, how bad the offensive line was, and they made a lot of changes that have hit immediately in year one. And when I look at the Patriots, I think this. I don't know if you're going to say this, but like the safe thing might be to be like, okay, they've had a really good year. Maybe not buying them this year, but I'll probably buy them over the next 2 years. Like, I think that's the safe thing to say.
Down the road, take can down the road.
Right. But look, I know it's the Jets, but Drake Maye looked like he was back at UNC this past week. He looked like he barely had to think. That it was just straight off of vibes. He went 19 for 21 last week. But if you look at the adjusted completion percentage, one of them was a drop, and the other one, his arm gets hit as he's throwing it.
And it was a kill shot. It was like he was trying to throw a 30-yard like bender. It would have been a touchdown. It just got batted. Yeah.
100% adjusted completion percentage with 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, I don't know how I don't call that team, especially with Mike Vrabel at the helm, knowing how good of a head coach he is. And then obviously the chemistry that Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye very clearly have together. I mean, they're playing as confidently as you could play. And I'm sure that you've talked about this because a lot of people talk about it. When it comes to making it into the playoffs, you want to be playing your best ball in late December, right? The New York Giants' 2 Super Bowls in the 2000s are all about that, right? You're not the best team in the world, but if you're hot when the playoffs start, you can win a ring.
Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl win. The Packers got hot in the last month and a half, and then they just kept it going. And then the next year they went 15-1.
Right? Yeah. They were a wild card team.
They had to beat my dad. Only reason I remember this is my dad was with the Bears. They had to beat the Bears in week 17 just to make the playoffs. And it was like 10-7 type game, freezing cold. And so they had to win that. And then they made the run to the Super Bowl. And then the next year they went freaking 15-1.
And so obviously, the Patriots aren't a wild card team, but they still feel like they're one of those teams that's just red hot right now. They're playing well. They're playing incredibly confidently. So a perfect team? No, but I have to buy this team because Drake has played. I wondered, I love Drake Maye. I had Drake Maye as a top 3 overall prospect in that draft. Like I thought he was an easy top 3 overall pick. And even with that being the case, I looked at him 7 or 8 weeks into the season and I was like, is the regression coming? Like, are we about to take that? Because he's still sophomore year, only second year in the league. Like, is it coming? And it sort of did a little bit. But the drop-off wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. And now you have the Jets game 1 week before the playoffs is going to start. And he looked like he was playing against college kids out there. Yeah. So I think because of those reasons, I've got to take them as buy. I got to buy that they're legitimate contenders.
It's in most years I'd just be like, oh, this was fun. Okay, cool year, but probably a flame out in the playoffs. But just how the AFC is made up. Like, I like them as much as anybody because they're getting Will Campbell back. They're getting Milton Williams back as well. That's huge. That the fact that they've been able to just be upright and be somewhat functional without their like pretty good starting left tackle rookie. And then I'll talk about the defense in a sec. But the passing game it's legit. I of all the games I rewatched first thing yesterday morning was I watched the Patriots Jets game because I didn't have that game on my multi-view. I was just seeing the stats. I reviewed it afterwards. We talked about it briefly on the recap show, and I watched it on all 22. And like you said, it was just like, it felt like a quarterback that went 21 for 21. They had a couple other plays called back for penalties, but the ball went to the right spot and a penalty happened. And then he scrambled a couple times. And I think the one sack he took was for -1 yards or 0 yards. So it was like, even his negative plays were actually turned out to be like not that bad. And as someone that was a super high in Drake Maye, anyone that's kind of listened to me the last couple of years, my bold prediction was that I thought he would be an MVP candidate in his rookie contract, not second year. If I thought it was second year, I would have been a little bit bolder with my takes this summer.
Right.
I was just like, he's gonna have a great year, probably maybe sniff a Pro Bowl. Like that was kind of like he might get there, but the AFC's stacked, so we'll see in year 3, 4. I wasn't expecting this type of campaign. They're first in explosive plays. The Patriots, who, when you first watch them, especially the first half of the year, it was a lot of nickel and diming, like a lot of just underneath stuff. And now I'm so glad you brought up the North Carolina stuff because now you're seeing it pop wide open. Since week 19, they're first in air yards per target, 10.26 air yards per target. The only other team above 2 or above 10 is the Packers. Jordan Love. That makes sense.
Right. And that was Drake Maye at UNC. He led college football in big time throws during his sophomore and junior years, the last 2 years that he was there. Like that's what he wants to do. And he was doing that at the same exact confidence level that he was at UNC, which is crazy to say that he's doing that now in the NFL.
That's why I loved him. It was he can create explosive plays with his arm or his legs. And I thought that's the hardest thing to do. And the fact that he did it just so confidently, like it wasn't like, hey, you just had a bad play there. Now you got to push the ball again. I was like, no, he was like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry. Here's another 25-yard seam ball.
Right.
No, but they're first in so many stats. Like since week 9 or full season, since week 9, they're fourth in passing DVOA. So even if you adjust for the weaker schedule, it's still impressive stuff like the Jets game. The run game hasn't been great, but it's been better and actually better than I even assumed. Since week 9, they're 16th in running back rushing success rate. Average. That's all they need to be. Average, because the passing game's so explosive. And I think what's cool about Maye is that every game he can kind of target. It's not the ideal, perfect pass catching group, but he can really just target a whole bunch of guys and kind of against man, against zone, first in EP per dropback, first in net yards, every stat you want to see. Now the defense, this is where I'm a little worried, and they really need Milton Williams to come back because since week 9, I'm sorry to just drop a whole bunch of stats on you, but dead last in EPA per run. 30th in yards per rush.
They're dead last? Damn. I knew they weren't good. I didn't know they were dead last.
Dead last. 30th in rushing success rate. 30th in rushing DVOA. 30th in run stuff rate. 32nd in yards before contact. 2.29 yards before contact per run play. That is like Derrick Henry after contact.
Right.
28th in explosive runs allowed, 30th in sack rate, 30th in interceptions per attempt. But their passing defense has gotten better and improved because I think they've trickled in. They kind of figured out, hey, we got Christian Gonzalez and we got Carlton Davis. Like, let's let them go. Let's let them jam guys and play more man. So it's a defense that right now is 21st in DVOA since week 9. So it's a below average defense. And I want to just see with Milton Williams coming back if that can improve enough. But I am buying them because I just buy the quarterback and I think the offensive infrastructure is enough, even if I think the run offense is a little and defense is a little dicey right now.
Right. I think Milton Williams helps for sure, and getting him back will be big. But if you can be a little bit closer towards average, I think this team does have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Just got to be average. And that's really but we'll talk about a couple more of these teams. But the AFC is going to come down to not maybe having the best unit, it's having the least worst unit. It's like, that's really what it is. Who has the most average bad unit, if that makes sense. Yeah.